Hello everyone and welcome back to our project where we built CRM system from scratch. And let's open our project and see what we want to work on today. So let's start everything and play around with it. Tailwind and bundle. Okay. So, like that. We have our card. We can change stuff and we have history adding. We can edit our fields and everything works. We can add notes. Right, all good. So what else do we want to get in our system? What else? So we can add notes, right? Emails, activities, I don't care for now. Stage history, no. Adding files. Do we want to edit files? To add files now? Not really, I don't care for now. What I do really care is fully functional system that I and my team can use, at least somehow, and it already helps us, right? So that's the main point. And files are not as important. Usually we use Google Drive for that, so I'm not even sure if we need files over here. Maybe we won't, but it will be saved to Google Drive or maybe to the CRM system itself. People love Google Drive, especially non-technical people who do not know how to. Basically, they want the ability to do Google Docs and stuff. So I'm not sure about files. We usually keep, if it's sales pipeline or recruiting pipeline, we usually keep files in Google Drive and just link them here, as a link on the left side. So I think it's all good. Right here, yeah. So yeah, basically it's all done, right? Basically we can already start making stuff. Oh, the timeline. Yeah, it's just the timeline is just dummy stuff. We can actually remove that, I guess. Yeah, this is just dummy values that we can remove. So the history is empty, and then we just change stage Oh, if the history is empty and I change stage, I do not have first entry in here. I have some problem. Let's fix it. So for me today is October 28th. If the history is empty and adding a new timeline event fails. So we want to fix that. Div timeline child nodes 0 after. Yeah, so if it's like that, of course we wanna. Oh, we have two places where we do exactly that. That's fine. Yeah. So if the timeline is empty, then we wanna do like after first child, and yeah. And how does it look like if timeline is not empty? We don't have any timelines. Yeah, of course. Render timeline date if needed. Basically, it doesn't. First problem that we are not rendering timeline date, which we should actually. Which we should. Right. Okay. So that's also a problem if there is no timeline events. We should render date as well. So that's actually the most important problem. So let's look at that. So right here we are looking for date only, and we should be looking at the timeline events as well, right? And they are saved in a timeline event field change into timeline. So they are saved in the card timeline, So we should be looking at this as well. If card timeline length 0, then we also wanna render like that. That's interesting. So over here, we don't actually have let's double check if we have the timeline length. Yeah, we do have it. So we have one here and so we should have the raw date actually. And it's undefined. That's cool. So does it mean that card timeline is date event previous is undefined? That's probably the reason. Like that. Nope. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. So we have card timeline, which is array with one element. Oh, array with one element. In the previous, yeah. I see. Yeah, it's basically, we wanna say we just added first timeline event, right? So if you just added first timeline event, then we render stuff. Now all works properly. So this is one of the problems that you have with imperative style, where there's sometimes some transitions are not properly programmed and you have bugs. But there is a benefit, which is once you fix it, it works. So just fix it, please, and that's it. And you have other benefit, which is it's very fast. It's like so fast that, you know, if I click here, if I change stuff, I feel like the slowness. I still can tell like it's slow. Yeah, maybe it's doing like some request to the server, of course. Let's see. It's doing a bunch of stuff actually. And yeah, and the time for that is like 200 milliseconds for the patch request, and everything else I think it's just some analytics, and it's reloading the timeline. I don't know. We don't have that, so maybe that's why we're faster. But still, like, I have experience on big projects and where there is a big UI and it's just 10 times faster, 10 times. But it's not 10 times more complicated to write. To me, it's like on big React, for example, program, it's not very easy either. Especially like you have transitions here, you have form here, you have like stuff everywhere, and in React it will not be easy as well. Just different kind of problems, and I prefer to have problems like that instead of having problems with React. But that's just a whole different topic. I don't want to go right now. So we fixed that. We cool. Let's commit. Basically, if we just added the first timeline event, we render the date, and then we remove the dummy timeline history, which is fine. And that's it. Okay, let's play around a little bit more. So I wanna customize the fields. I wanna delete everything here. Save. I wanna delete dropdown as well, right? How do I delete dropdown? Should I drop it here? Okay, we have a problem. We have a problem. If it's required, if the field is required, I cannot delete it anyway. Like in any way, like there is no way to delete a field. How to customize this stuff? Okay. So in here I have a button to edit, and if I oh, this is mandatory because, you know, in this pipeline it is mandatory. Maybe we can work on the pipeline itself to configure the pipeline, you know. So because in this pipeline we like in UI we actually have like pipeline configuration with stages that are possible. And somewhere here we actually should be specifying that candidate name is actually field that we cannot change, I guess so. But for the other fields we can uncheck mandatory, save, and it's not mandatory anymore, or we can say that it is mandatory, but we can still, we cannot remove it, yeah? Not removable when mandatory. Yeah, I can uncheck mandatory, save, or mandatory, how it's correct, I don't know. And then I can actually remove it. So that's a good thing to do. That's a good thing to do. Right. So card fields, add the ability to remove mandatory to edit field, basically. Yeah, that's the thing that we want to do. We want to edit fields. Right now we cannot do it. So let's do it. It's gonna be in the some of the models, I guess, in customized fields model, right? So we have render field used. This is where we actually render all the fields. And here we have, okay, drop zone, it's fine, div field container, and here we have icon delete, and we can add another icon, right? We can add another icon like that. So let's do it. Render icon delete. Maybe it's because we have it everywhere. Okay, so let's see. I guess we use this guy, pencil, right? We use pencil. Let's find it. Yeah. So maybe we wanna extract this code as well, so that we can reuse it. Right. Like that. Yeah, so it's on the right side right now. Maybe we need to position it somehow differently. So, our delete icon has opacity, width, height, text weight, and our edit icon is absolutely positioned. Oh, absolute positioning. So we want to remove that. We want to keep it here, right? Let's see, some classes we want, some classes we don't want. So on the icon delete, we don't even use classes. We add them after that. So yeah, that's a good idea to do as well. We can just add them after we render. Okay, now class icon delete, what is that? Text weight, cursor pointer, yeah, that's no good. So we have width, height. Let's see. So we have width, height that we could reuse probably, and cursor pointer as well, text slate, and hover. I guess hover, not sure. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and maybe let's actually render a model. So over here we can say like that. So we have our icon, which is not visible at all, and let's see. So right now it has text white, and in here we use group hover and hover, text black. Maybe I need to do that. I think I touched icon delete as well. Oh, I shouldn't touch icon delete, sorry for that. That's no good. Like that. Okay, now all good. I don't like that it's too big though. It's like too big actually. Should I do like padding for this guy? Maybe 3 pixels is fine. Two pixels is fine. So, that's something I want to do for every icon. Right. Okay. And let's see for this guy. Yeah, it looks fine for me. Now it looks fine. And on the hover, I wanna do the same stuff. Basically. Okay. And let's reuse it over here as well. So we know that it works. Like that. Yeah, it's fine. So we can already commit this piece, actually. Okay. Now we want to hide this show edit icon for all the fields, not only for optional fields. Right now we are actually looking if it's mandatory, then it's hidden. So it will be not hidden, I guess, only for stage. So if it's stage, label field stage, then it's hidden. Otherwise we have it, right? Yeah, and maybe let's do some, decrease the padding between those guys. Oh, we have a gap. We have gap. Maybe So over here we have a gap 4, which I don't no longer want, and basically this guy will have just margin left 2, I guess, like that, and it's all good. And maybe this guy will be margin left 1. Yeah. Okay. Then when we click on edit icon, we want to open the edit field model, which is actually right now called create. Create card, create custom field, create custom field. So when you click, it's actually like that. And in our case, we want to edit. So when you click, you cannot rename a system-defined field. Ooh, that's interesting. So it's more complicated than that, right? It's actually, yeah, in this case, it's just field label, field type, which you cannot change. And you just can change some checkboxes and the label of the field. Right? So that's what we want to do. We want to create edit custom field. Right? And we want to call it on click. Sorry, I can edit. Like that. Is that correct? Let's see. Yeah, you just call it and you're done. You're good. And inside of that, let's see. Class model container and the height and stuff. Do I want to copy that? Let's see. Not really. Okay. So we have our header. We can reuse a lot of stuff from that, right? So in creation we have a header stuff. For now we can just copy that, but ideally edit custom field, right? Then we have content, and the content will be also the content will be also the same, right? We have controls. Header, content, and controls. And in the content, we don't need all these references, I guess. We will see now. Field label, field type. So, field label we want to reuse as much as possible because it's actually the same. We just create label, we have some input, we have form. Okay, so let's just use this guy like that. We will see later what we want to do. Okay, so class fields, margin top, that's fine. Text error field label, we did that. Input field label, we did that. Field type we don't need. Field is mandatory, we will need. We don't need pick list options. Right, I don't need pick list options. Right, and so we have our label and we need controls as well. So for the controls we can just do this. Are we gonna have like pick list options? Yeah, so we can change pick list options, right? It seems to me that they're almost the same, but not exactly. Okay. So, let's figure out field type. We don't need that because field type is not editable, right? So we will not have field type. Field is mandatory. We will need this label, and so we basically, depending on the field type, we actually render not only the field type, but we also render everything else. Right? Well, yeah, we should render field type. We should render field type here. To me, it seems like I'm trying to decide whether I should use the same code. I mean, trying to make the creation model more complicated a bit, but it will be easier to reuse, or trying to create another model for editing and trying to reuse little pieces from the create. So I'm still not sure. I guess I would prefer to have a separate model, but just have some little pieces from the first one. That way we can go and make it more complicated if we need, but don't touch the create model and don't overcomplicate the creation model. So let's do that. Right, let's maybe try to see. So we have our field type and field label, and in our case we actually wanna have it pre-selected, right? So pre-fill the field label and field type with the values, right? So in this case it's gonna be, in this case What is that? Oh, field type is not defined. Where is the field type here? Field type. So it is defined in here, right? And when we save, it is no longer defined. Let's see. Oh, okay. It's just because just because I deleted some of the code, I will have to just accept the field type in here, basically the field, CRM field, and then from that I will take the field type. Yeah, so it will be slightly different here, right? Instead of pushing the new field, I will just modify existing one. So yeah. Okay, so we want to pre-fill, right? We want to pre-fill with values in the content, actually. So we have field label, we have div input container, and here we can say value equals field label. Now if we go and click edit field, whoa, cannot read properties of undefined reading label. Yeah, let's pass it field. Actually, right, this is a field like that. So we have now pre-filled name, label for the field, and we want to pre-fill the field type as well. So we want to say type, I guess. Let's see. Yeah. We click candidate name and it's not pre-filled. Oh yeah, so that's not how it works. Yeah. Basically over here we want to say what is the right way to set a chosen value for the select value? You can do selected attribute, but if I wanna just take the select like that and basically say that value equals text. Yeah, it works like that. So it should be working, right? Maybe I just need to do it a little bit later. Right here. Yeah. So it's text. If I open drop down, it's pick list, which is nice. And then we actually wanna make it uneditable, basically, like that. So maybe before going forward, we will need to compress some of the code and stop duplicating a bunch of stuff and actually make it nicer and easier to maintain, right? So we probably wanna have to generalize a little bit here because it's getting too much duplication, and it's the right moment to think about how to actually reduce the amount of code, because right now it's already almost 3,000 lines and we want to reduce that. And actually it's a right moment to do because these models are very similar, and why not? So I think we will just commit whatever we made right now, and next step will be to refactor a little bit and clean up some duplication. So we added icon for editing, opening edit model, and basically this whole function is almost completely copy-paste, which we don't want. It will be hard to maintain in the future, so we will clean it up. So for now, we just made a little functionality that can open the model and prefill it with values. Edit icon, open edit model, and prefill it with values. Draft. Right. So I think we will stop at this moment. Thank you everyone for being with me today. And in the next video, we will continue cleaning up our code and make it more maintainable, right? And I think, yeah, that's the right thing to do. So see you on the next video.